Hey guys, this is Apollo here, and it's time for a deck profile. Well, it is Youthberk. Well, with the update of the latest set DZ-BT08, we get a new form of Youthberk and this new Rebel form, along with some support that will greatly make the deck like how fun it is even back then. So I've been testing a little bit these past 2 days, and well, it works. I mean, it's not as well, I guess, really crazy crazy fun like full bus was, but I mean it's still a good deck. I mean I do like it. So let's just go on deck profile, shall we? Okay, so we'll go on the right deck. So the right deck, starter, I run the new grade 0 youth. I mean it doesn't really matter what grade 0 you run, to be very honest, especially in Youthberk. I run the new grade 1 youth skill. When this unit is rolled upon by the sword for other like youth, you can silver one. You can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and you can choose up to one Youthberk among them, or you call a grade 2 unit or less card among them, and you just shuffle the deck. So it's either one. You can't choose both. But the good thing about this new youth is that, unlike the first one where you silver on the top 3, this one essentially lets you top 5 instead, but at the cost of not getting 2k when you go second when you attack, basically. But I mean it's nothing special really. So the grade 2, I run the new grade 2 youth skill. When this unit is rolled upon by a card with a reverse ability, you enter your 3, you choose a grade 2 upgrade unit card from a drop and put in your hand. And of course the main guide itself, Youthberk's guide for arms rebuild. So the river dress is exactly the same. I mean I'm not gonna go through my deal. I think a lot of you might know what river dress really means at this point. But his own skill is that, okay, the river is the same, but here's the catch. There are two ways you can actually river dress the new Youthberk. So the first way is that you can choose a card from hand that was the river form its name. You write it, and then it gets -2 drives at the end of turn. Or you can river dress a river form from your drop by paying the cost of combat +1. So pretty good. And the good thing about this is that when this unit is rolled upon by the river form name, you can discard a card from hand, and you change your drive to 1. So essentially, this card itself is not using the need of Sequana anymore. So instead of like you putting Sequana, so just change the drive to 1, it redoes it itself, which is pretty good. So, but the only downside I would say for this card is that instead of putting the Railroad Dress and Railroad form in the soul, you have to bind it once at the end of your turn. So that's pretty standard. So that is the right line for Youthberk. So let's go on to the main deck. So the main deck, I mean, it's what it is. So I mean, 3 personas obviously. I do run the new reform of 4 exists. I mean, obviously you run 4 exists. It's literally a better full blast compared to what full blast was back then. So exist skill, we can remember this missing. But so when this unit enters in the this unit has been rid of dress, you enter your 3. When you reverse dress, you activate all the abilities below. You can enter your 3. You can choose one reverse and stand it. The other one is that during a turn, your front row gets 10 power. If you have another rebel form in your bind zone, it gets 20k instead of 10k. The third skill, if you have another copy of exists in the bind zone, he gets a crit. So there are a lot of builds out there. I've seen that people are saying that you can actually play the hostage build, really. Yeah, so you can essentially get the full stuff on turn 3 alone. I would say it's a little. I mean, let's say I can't afford it. Just that it's not really my thing. But to be fair, it is possible. But it is what it is. So, that's what the main reform I'm gonna do. Here's the backup reform I'm playing. I'm playing for Tempest. So you guys might be thinking, well, why are you running Tempest when it's literally a good card itself? So my idea is that relying on Exist alone isn't really enough. And there are been cases where I did try to reduce Tempest to like a very small amount, and trust me, it really just, there are cases where I really did break without even real. I mean, even if I did have a reform, it's not really easy to access, at least for my build. So Tempest is there simply because it's filter fodder slash in some cases a backup real form. So its skill is that when this unit becomes real dressed, you can your reform gets 5k, and then you can mass one. You look at top two cards of the deck. I mean, you reveal top two cards of the deck, and then you choose your opponent's real cards that's among them, and then you just spin it back to the deck that's the same grade that you chose. So, yeah, that's it. I mean, Tempest is a good draw engine. That's really very. I think that's the only build form I can think of that could do pretty well with rebuild. Zest not really. Gus, I mean, you can play Gus if you want to get an extra drive, but honestly, it's not that amazing to be fair. But Tempest does work because it's basically a draw too. So that's the reason why I'm playing that. So as a tech, I'm running one Decisive Axe Dragon. So for his turn, if his card is here, this goes. When this unit attacks for the battle, if your Vanguard has been rolled upon during the battle phase, your opponent cannot call normal units for the battle. Essentially, it shuts down their sentinels basically. I mean, shuts down their PGs. So I initially run 2 of these, but now that I think about it, I can run the 1 because it does get in the way somewhat. So I think 1's fine. Even then, it's not really a game changer. It's just there just to make your opponent scared. And the billboard, I played the 1 Fire Regalis. So the Fire Regalis was initially from my laboratories initially here. So it does billboard. So the Fire Regalis essentially just builds board really. Just put simply. That's for the grade 3s. Now let's go on to grade 2s. So the grade 2s, I run 4 Doringan. So Doringan skill first, continuous on regular circle during your turn. If you have a revel form in your bind zone, this unit gets plus 5 power. Second skill, when this unit is stood by ability of your Youthberk, you can counterblast 1, you draw 1, and for that turn, when this unit attacks for that battle, when your opponent calls a guardian, you just call 2 more at the same time. So guard restrict. So usually, it just depends on the situation, but usually I would want to go to this if I want to get a draw power. But at situations, I do think access does help. So there's that. Right? The other great run is I run 4 Dudlix. So Dudlix skill, when this unit is placed on regular circle, you can counterblast 1, look at top 5 cards of the deck for a Youthberk, put your hand for the deck. Second skill, when this unit attacks, if you have a grade 3 or greater Youthberk, for the turn, this unit gets +1. And keep in mind that this +1 key is not for that battle, it's for the whole turn. So if you kind of think about it, it's a much more efficient Schneisel compared to what Schneisel was. So if you're asking me, should you play Schneisel or Dudlik, honestly speaking, I say because, well, given the build we have right here, I think Dudlik's a better option. Schneisel, I'll be honest, it's very similar, but if I were to choose either one, Dudlik's the option, simply because it's cost effective and, well, you really have got a lot of power for thesis, so there's no point being Schneisel from power really. So I think to make it easier, just get Dudlik. It's a much more better choice if you personally ask me. Right, that's for the grade 2s. Now for the grade 1s, I run for Corino. Corino is like literally your revel form searcher and essentially filters the deck. So most of the time, it's your discard fodder, just search exists, and if your Tempest is somehow in your hand, which you don't use it most of the time, you just put in soul really, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it's literally your revel form searcher. So her skill, when this unit is placed on your circle from deck or was discarded during your turn, if you have a Youth Vanguard, you can search your deck for a revel form, put your hand to the deck. Then you choose a card from your hand and put it into your soul. So it just filters and get your exist out basically. Really expensive card now because I think it's a really good filter card. If you really want a little slightly more budget option, you can play, or what do you call that? You can play that what's it called? The Counter Century Grade 1 for triple rare. I think in DZ-BT04 or 5 around there, where it's basically, well, you take 2 cards from the right deck, put them face up, you toss them for a different grade 3, put your hand shuffle deck. If you do not put any card in your hand, you can put that card back in your hand. So yeah, you can play that if you want a slightly better option, but it really depends. But I think honestly, Corino's a better option because it essentially just finds your real form whatever you need to. Alright, so next off, for the good ones, I play free Enucleate. Enucleate skill, when this unit, when Vanguard grade 3 is rolled upon, you still pass 1, return this unit, you counter touch 1, and keep your Vanguard plus 5 here instead of turn. So you might be thinking, well, why are you playing Enucleate and not the other contractors in the deck? So if you realize, now the new uses energy. So there's not really good reason to play like Gas and Strike anymore, simply because you're using energy. So you can't really waste the energy just for a counter charge and plus 5 hit himself at the Vanguard. So instead, since your soul is not really used that much, you can just use the nucleate to give you that counter charge and plus 5 hit your Vanguard. So that's the reason why I think nucleate still is pretty good, at least in this context. And just because I just as a somewhat tank option, I run 2 Sphilts. So Sphil skill, when your Vanguard has been rebel dressed, you can send it unit and just give 10 of power till the end of turn. So it's your Vanguard booster. So just to put something, if you really want to, you can take out the ones that I put one Sphil in there, but I think it's hard to do it, and it does work. And of course, you do run for the effect PGs. Ideally, you want to put one Sanchu in there, but I mean, obviously, it's to each your own. So we're gonna triggers. I run the red OT simply because it just gives you one more attack, and this new fight does benefit it. So you got 8 crits. I pay 40 effect crits. I mean, again, if you want to save the cost, you don't have to get effect crits. I mean, you don't have to get effect crits at all, like really, because there's no point. And even if you want to play them, like, what's the point of you using Soul, really? It's not that Silver Land. So I'm only playing that just because it's just for aesthetic purposes. Here's your other crits. Free effect fronts, because you need shield power. But, okay, another thing about it, if you really want to play draws in this deck, that's also fine, because I realized with the new Youthberk, there's not much good draw compared to Full Blast last time. So, if you really want a more, get your pieces really easily, you can play draws, but you do sacrifice the extra tanky shield, and I do play 4 heals, the vanilla heals. So, yep, that's it for my deck profile. Really glad to see Youthberk coming back into the format. So, pretty straightforward deck. You gold exist most of the time, and if you somehow your river dress are on drop, you can just click go river dressing. So, with that being said, that's for my deck profile. Thank you guys so much for watching the deck profile. If you liked it, do share, do like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.